Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi everyone, please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Ririn Fadilah Gustam. I'm from 3E class, and now we are discussing about developing creative English learning strategies. Well, everyone, according to Benjamin Bloom and his friends, divide teaching materials as well as learning outcomes into three domains, that is cognitive, affective, and then psychomotor. Okay, the first is the cognitive domain contains knowledge. The second is the affective domain contains values and attitudes. And the third is the psychomotor domain contains attitudes, skills, and behavior. The process takes place in a linear way from cognition, affect, and psychomotor and Bloom's taxonomy. Even though the cognitive domain has been revised, is highly cognitive. That is, cognition is seen as very domain in education and more broadly in human life. The distribution of teaching materials and learning outcomes according to Driscoll and Wood is not cognitive. Namely, the first is results of knowledge. The second is skill results. And the third is the result of attitudes and values. And the fourth is behavioral results. That means teaching materials are actually in the form of four things, namely knowledge, values, skills and expertise, and then attitudes and behavior. These four teaching materials cannot be separated. Well, appropriately and primarily, knowledge manifests into skills and expertise, while values become attitudes and behavior. Well, the implication is that the way of teaching and learning in RWSL is different from the ways of teaching and learning about knowledge of English, values, attitudes, and behavior in communication. Learning RWSL is likened to learning to ride a bicycle. And the way of learning is definitely different from how to learn knowledge about bicycles, how to learn values in riding a bicycle, and how to learn behavior in riding a bicycle.
Introduce myself. My name is Umi Nur Alfiany S. I'm from 3E class, and my student number is 211063106036. Teaching is the ancient paradigm, and the new paradigm is study and learning. Learning means process and ways that encourage and make student learning inside and outside the classroom. This paradigm shift doesn't mean there is no teaching activity. Learning and teaching activities are still ongoing, but the emphasis is on learning and teaching, not on teaching. Teachers pay more attention to students than themselves. Kumara Fadilah also note 11 methods of learning English for speakers of other language. 1. Audiolingual method. 2. Communicative method. 3. Community language learning. 4. Direct method. 5. Grammar translation method. 6. Natural approach. 7. Oral approach. 8. Silent way. 9. Situational language teaching. 10. Suggestopedia. 11. Total physical response. These 11 methods can be grouped into the three categories, namely language-centered method, learner-centered method, and learning-centered method. The three categories of method are also referred to as approach. In the realm of education, Two major approaches are known, namely teacher-centered learning and student-centered learning. Current learning practices tend to use a student-centered approach, which is also called flexible learning, experiential learning, and self-directed learning, active learning, and participatory learning, learner-centered learning, and learning-centered teaching. The three categories of method above are included in the student-centered learning approach.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, my name is Nur Shafira Khoirun N. We'll continue the next material. The learning method has the following limitation. First, the method is formulated based on ideal concepts in ideal context as well. This limitation creates a distance between the formulation of the methods and its application in real learning practice. Thus, the application of learning methods requires modification and steps that are more detailed, flexible, contextual, and creative according to psychological and physical condition of the class and the characteristics of the students. Steps that are more detailed, flexible, contextual, and creative are called learning strategies. Second, the method is insufficient to explain the complexity of learning activities in different places around the world. Learning activities are complex. Comparative value added because they involve factors such as teacher cognition, student perception, community needs, culture, political climate, economic conditions, and institutional constraints. With the limitation of the method, continued Fadilah, an alternative to the method is needed, not an alternative method. He called the alternative to this method the POST method. POST method is a three-dimensional learning system with three parameters, namely particularity, practicality, and possibility. Particularity means that the learning system is adapted to the conditions of teachers, students, learning objectives, schools, and society. Macro-strategy is guiding principles, general plans, broad guidelines for organizing learning activities. Macro-strategy is made into a personal action with micro-strategy. In other words, micro-strategy is a more technical action to apply macro-strategy in order to teach and study teaching materials in order to achieving learning objectives. Macro-strategy and micro-strategy. First, maximize learning opportunities, such as competition games, cyberspace, and technology in use. Second, minimize perceptual mismatches, such as striking, birthday, hard talk, and critical thinking. Third, facilitate negotiated interaction, such as hand-in-hand, being on the same boat, and think aloud. Fourth, promote learner autonomy, such as seeing is learning, research topic of this week. Fifth, foster language awareness, such as speech act practice and spell it out. That's all the material we presented. We apologize if there are any mistake. Thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.